Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're stay healthy and stay safe. Today I want to explain about the novel that I have read. The title is Sense and Sensibility. But first, I want to introduce myself. My name is Alvina. You can call me Eva. I am from 6 semesters of English education in Majapahit Islamic University. Okay, now I want to tell you about the novel. But first, I'm going to tell you about the characters. The first character is Mr. Henry Dashwood. He is a rich man who died early in the story because of the inheritance provisions, making Mr. Henry could not give a little of his wealth to his second wife and 3 daughters. And then the second character is Fanny Dashwood. Fanny Dashwood is the first wife of Henry Dashwood, who was very arrogant, cruel, and selfish. And then the third character is Mrs. Dashwood. Mrs. Dashwood is the second wife of Henry Dashwood, who was left with financial difficulties with the death of her husband. And then the next character is Eleanor Dashwood. Eleanor is the eldest daughter of Mr. Henry Dashwood and his second wife, Mrs. Henry Dashwood, who was quiet and very wise. Eleanor always prioritized others before herself. And then the next is Marianne Dashwood. Marianne is the second daughter of Mr. Henry Dashwood with his second wife, who is very romantic, passionate, and very expressive. And then the next character is Edward Ferrars. Edward is the eldest brother of Fanny Dashwood, who had long been attached to Eleanor Dashwood, who was his step-niece. And then John Willoughby. John Willoughby is the son of the Dashwood family neighbor, who is good at seducing. He is a man who is dashing and able to attract Marianne's attention. And then the last character is Colonel Christopher Brandon. He is a good friend of the Dashwood family, especially Eleanor. He was kind and gentle-hearted man, and he is also interested in Marianne. And then now I'm going to tell you about the synopsis. This novel tells about the life of Eleanor, who had to live modestly with 2 her younger siblings, Marianne Dashwood and Margaret Dashwood, also with her mother, Mrs. Dashwood, after his father, Mr. Henry Dashwood, died. And they did not get enough compensation. And then even their house was taken by the son of Mr. Henry Dashwood with the first wife, John Dashwood, who lived with his greedy, selfish, and arrogant wife. Therefore, Mrs. Dashwood and her daughters began to look for a place to live. But before finding a new house, they meet with her brother of Mr. Henry Dashwood, first wife, Edward Ferrars. He is also a soft-hearted, simple, intelligent, and also a little quiet. He showed interest in Eleanor as well as Eleanor's too. Finally, they got a modest new home at Barton Cottage in Devonshire. One of their neighbors, Colonel Christopher Brandon, liked one of Mrs. Dashwood's daughters, Marianne Dashwood. But Marianne did not like Colonel Brandon because Marianne thinks Colonel Brandon is too old from her. Marianne instead fell in love with the young man who had been helped her when she slept and was caught in a rain. The young man was John Willoughby. They are in a relationship. But John suddenly left Marianne to take care of his business in London, and it was uncertain when time returned. Marianne regretted not listening to her sister. Marianne was trapped and in sadness, which made her sick. And then came Colonel Brandon, who expressed his feelings to Marianne that his love for Marianne was sincerity. The same thing happened to Eleanor, who was visited by Lucy Steele, who was Edward's first fiancée. Lucy says that she will soon marry Edward and asks Eleanor to stay away from Edward. And suddenly Edward came along to meet Eleanor to explain everything. Edward says that Lucy left him for a richer man. Edward and Eleanor finally get married, and a few months later followed the marriage of Marianne and Colonel Brandon, and then they live happily with their own simplicity. And now we move to settings. The first setting is in the Norland Park, and then the second is in the Barton Cottage in Devonshire, and the last is in the London. And now I'm going to tell you about the author biography. This novel has written by Jane Austen, who was born in December 16, 1775 in Stephenton, United Kingdom. And she died at July 18 and 17 in Winchester, United Kingdom. And what is the moral value of this novel? The first moral value of this novel is, if you are dealing with love and romance, don't just use your sense, but also use your sensibility. Don't just use your sensibility, but also use your sense. Overall, I really like this novel because me, as a reader, will be invited to guess who will be Eleanor's lovers at the end of the story. I didn't even think that Edward would be Eleanor's lover, and I guess Edward still married with his ex-fiancée, Lucy Steele. But at the end of the story, Edward and Eleanor become a couple. Very unexpected storyline. You guys must read this novel. Even though the page is almost 460, but I guarantee you will not be bored to reading this novel. Honestly, I'm not a person who likes novel with romantic genres, but I don't know why I like this novel, which is basically a novel with full romantic stories and cheesy things. And the plot of this novel is truly unexpected. Many things that surprise you if you read this novel. I won't spoil it in here. You have to read by yourself. So basically, I really recommended this novel for you guys. I think enough about my explanation from the novel. The title is Sense and Sensibility from Jane Austen. I hope my explanation can be understood. Okay, I think enough. Thank you so much for your attention. Take care of your health, stay healthy, and stay safe. See you later. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.